By His grace. Yeah.
Okay. And
Okay.
then yes, once more have our sympathy for the loss of our mom.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So Timothy, are you chairing this morning?
Come again.
Are you chairing the meeting this morning?
If I'm given the greatest privilege, I can do so.
Of course, then go ahead.
Crack on then.
Okay. All right. Then I thank you very much for this greatest opportunity given to me to chair this meeting. I welcome you, noblemen of Africa, and great thinkers as well. This morning, yes. I think we will just observe a minute silence for the passed on of our mommy, and then we will pick it from there. So we'll just observe a minute silence.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. We thank God for everything. So, I think it has been great that I got connected to my adopted father in UK. That's no person than a great Pan-Africanist in the person of Dad Steve Tonte Ngu. He has been a great and very instrumental to me. He will push me to all corners to learn, and I'm so inspired at the rate at which I'm learning. I think I am highly indebted to him, and I owe everything to him now because he has pushed me to learn hard. That I think it is a great challenge, but I'm hoping to overcome it. Yes, and then Mr. Dankwa
Thank you, Steve.
Mr. Dankwa of my own country, another hardworking gentleman. I'm glad that I also got connected to you. And then so far, I think you have also been very instrumental to the progress of Africa and Ghana at large. And then we are proud to have you on board. Yes. Yes. I reached out to the two of you. With my father and myself, he have been able to come out with this NGO, this concept to help the communities, this concept to help Ghanaian people on the issue of agriculture, but and farming. But on that, we didn't just focus on farming. After you have tackled the farming, the people are earning income and they are doing well. Will you leave their education? No. Will you leave their health? No. Will you leave their fire? No. Will you leave their rescue and safety missions? No. Those are some of the things that we included in our constitution, because at the end of the day, if you are solving one problem and another problem is coming, it's like you've not done anything. So we have realized that we want to use our NGO to tackle all problems in the community. So this what has we have gotten to this stage. Now we have been able to get our NGO registered with the Ghana Register General. We have been able to do partial registration with social welfare to obtain license from social welfare, because they do the supervision and monitoring of all projects, especially NGO related. Yeah, we have been able to do that partially, although we have not completed, we have not gotten our certificate. But when we complete our next thing, we'll get that. Also, we have been able to build a website, courtesy of Dad Steven. He has built a website that we can really visit and access progress of work so far. Now all that is done. Now we are now asking ourselves, how do we get funding? This is the matter we want to discuss today. How to register Ghana farmers and extension mission cooperative. So this my dad have done instrumentally well, but we have gotten to a point that he cannot longer do it alone. We need to register the NGO to other funding place so that we can get funding to support us. So we have to discuss today. So I simply put it in 5 agenda. So I made it, how can our NGO obtain funding? How do we get access to the funding platform?
Okay. Stephen, do you want to
yes, well,
assist us?
As I was saying,
what must we do in check platforms? We also need to register our NGO with other embassies, so that when we register with other, but not the list is that other matter with relevant to
Yes. Like I was saying, I came across this video when I was watching movies over YouTube, and I saw Ghana rubber factory in Planlongo abandoned. I was like, oh my God. I said, let me watch it. So when I watched it from the start to finish, I started asking myself a lot of questions. As an African who has lived in the diaspora for over 20 years and know it all, know that the black race is facing extinction. That's my own theory. Whether we like it or not, that's my conclusion. Going back from when we ruled Europe, and eventually, I don't know what happened. The whole thing was overturned, and we became captive. And to date, we've not been on our knees. We are always being used, used as a dish where people sit on a table and slice us into pieces, and we hardly get on our feet. In fact, that video is really heartbreaking. I'm sorry. So I started asking myself a lot of questions. As I come from Cameroon, where the government abandoned us, especially those who speak English, because it's English and French. They abandon you to your fate. Whether you get work or you don't get work is none of their business. They can never invest in building a factory, talk less of giving an irrigation system or supporting even farmers. Instead, what the colonial people left during the 60s and gave independence, they have all destroyed it down to zero. So I was like, okay, Ghana, I know a little bit about Kwame Nkrumah, how he spearheaded the Pan-Africanist agenda to unite Africa and develop Africa. I said, this is something of interest. Let me make a little bit of research. That's when I went into the video and found Timothy, a field consultant. And then I decided to kind of go into the social media space, Google it, and introduce myself to him. First, he was skeptical as to, online thing, you cannot just open up. So I had to introduce myself to him several times, give him my profile to tell him that I was sincere, And after a week chat or two, he's okay. He opened up a little bit, and we've been chatting ever since. And within a month, we were able to trust one another and started sharing information, and it led to the creation of this NGO. So I made him to understand that Ghana or Cameroon or wherever we are, we have one identity. When a white man or our adversaries sees you, it doesn't need to talk to you to ask you a question. Your identity, your color identifies who you are. So I told him, I said, well, unfortunately, we can communicate. We have one thing in common, which is communication. Maybe we can solve this problem. We can attempt to solve this problem at our own small level, and at some point we'll bring in experts. For what I know, I'm not an expert in community development, but I try to. I said, first of all, let's use this NGO, bring the 4 of the 5 villages closer to this factory together, conduct a feasibility studies, and identify what the problem is. And then we can approach the government. Yeah, I know that they are we have foreign intruders where they subsidize their farmers in Europe and we don't subsidize ours, and then they export a lot of low quality materials and pollute our market where our local farmers are taking off market space. I said we can change the narrative because there is an organization now, ATTL, led by Her Excellencies Arikana Chiruma from Zimbabwe, is in the US. She's leading a movement that will kind of open up free trade across Africa. So if we can be able to bring these farmers together, develop this concept, finance them, and then the end product, since for most of these products are perishable crops, we can invest in food processing and preservation, food processing, packaging, and preservation. That is the way Europe feeds its population, because you cannot just grow food without these 3 components. You must know how to preserve it, to give it, to expand its life. You must know how to process it, and then package. And then the fourth aspect now will be to how to market. I say how to market. Africa is opening up to this free trade now, where you can produce something in Ghana and you sell in Togo, you sell in Cameroon, you sell in Nigeria, just with a click of a button. And then Europe, another advantage too is Europe is opening up now. Since the UK closed its border with the EU, she has turned that to her Commonwealth group of nations, and Africa is the biggest target point where she intends to fit her population with just everything from finance to infrastructure to education to agriculture to pharmaceutical to everything. This is an opportunity which we can pick up, and believe me, our young people will not grow and be looking onto diaspora the way they're suffering and running running about the whole place and coming stretching to see that they get jobs in Europe, which I don't even see where the job is. We are here suffering. Whether you get educated as what, you're only being considered as a second-class citizen. You know, it doesn't matter what you are. You know, you get to a place, first of all, they look at the color, not the qualification. But Africa is a place we can concentrate and develop that wealth. I'm not talking about other natural resources. I'm talking about other agriculture. So I'm glad that at first we were just two of us, and gradually people started coming, joining us. And I know that was a dream, that when we form something, we bring in experts, we bring in, put hands together. Because they say many hands tie the bundle. One hand cannot do it. So I'm glad that we're able to get you, and you're able to, share with us and see that we actually take this movement to another level, where it will be an inclusive one to bring knowledge together. Over to you, Mr. Dago.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for expounding on this. I think I have spoken to Timothy at great length as well. And, on our own platform, we've been, as the African developer, an NGO which we've started here in the UK and in Ghana, and we're trying to spread into other African countries. Now, the reason or the basis for the NGO was to assist the youth and women in our societies, because as you rightly said, Stephen, there was a large influx or sort of outflux rather of our youth into African countries. Recently, a young man called me from Libya. He said, "Oh, I'm stuck. I need help, etc., etc." This is a person who I've recently told not to travel, that should try and make something of himself in Sierra Leone, but he did not listen. However, that's one example. There are many examples which I'm sure all of you are aware of. So I spoke to Stephen, and I suggested that Africa is mainly an agri kind of business continent, where every country has the main stable income of farming. So our plan is to create hubs in regional areas and have representation at district level as well, so that the district level officers will bring in details of the various facets of farming, the various crops that are being grown. And once we have that information and assistance, we can assist them to do better. Now, for example, I know the problems which are existing in each of our various districts. Let's just focus on Ghana for a moment. Now, I think I suggested to Timothy that we need to have a power base. For example, the Walugu tomato factory, I think one of the main reasons which I understand it failed was because there was a lack of the raw material resource to feed the factory. So I suggested to Timothy that we create a power base locally, you know, by forming of cooperatives or associations of various farmers within the northern region, for example. And by so doing, we will have, you know, a base to kind of leverage to the government so that we could take the factory over. And one of the other things, Stephen, as you may know, is that there are a lot of people in the UK, for example, and I'm sure there's some in America, in Europe, you know, Africans who want to relocate back to Africa to invest and, you know, take up the mantle. So these are some of the opportunities that are there. And I think personally that we need to create this power base, which is a database or a list of all the farmers within the northern region. And first of all, before we even look for funding, that is my personal opinion. Now, as part of the African developer, there are plans afoot to create something on par with the fair trade, whereby when farmers produce goods or produce, there will be a system to purchase their items, package them, and take them to market. You know, I've been doing some research, and in various African countries like Benin, for example, you have the country importing a lot of foodstuffs, and yet we have foodstuffs within other African countries which are in abundance and essentially are either sold at a very low price or they are, you know, literally go to waste. So these are some of the things we need to concern ourselves with. On the question of funding, I think, you know, as I mentioned, there are individuals out there who want to invest. There are a lot of retirees who want to come back home to invest. There are individuals who want to invest. There are companies here in the UK, for example, who want to you know, find new investment. So that's my humble opinion. Timothy, do you want to comment?
Timothy?
Hello, yeah, I'm with you.
Yes. So that's my humble opinion. My you know, funding we can look for, but you have to have processes in place. And as I said, I think we need to create a power base locally. I think we've discussed this several times. You can't just go out for funding. You've got to show the person who's coming to invest with you, you know, what you have, without going out there looking for funding. Any comments from anyone?
Yes, let me come in here. Maybe Timothy is getting connection problem. Recently, Timothy.
No, I can hear.
Okay. But first of all, let me chip in something. I brought in the president of another NGO in Cameroon, where I also mentor them. It's called Boris. So he's a president of SUCDA. It's a sustainable development NGO in Cameroon, Tico, to be precise. I also mentor them as well, and I'm also CEO of that. So I brought his name is Boris, also because it's going to be an integral part of us. You also your expertise in the UK concerning funding. In fact, Cameroon will also be the first place where you have to create a branch also, because this NGO will actually lead you into, you know, bringing partners and so on, which actually create for this funding as you're talking about. So go ahead, Timothy.
Okay, I think that's a very laudable idea coming from him, and then it's so welcoming. As our last report, I have discussed with this industry concerning us building the farmer database. We will not only build the farmer database, but after we have successfully built the farmer base, we are going to start with the farmers from the FBO level. The FBO simply means farmer-based organization. Farmer-based organization, what it practically means is that we are going to put the farmers into farmer base. Then from farmer base, we elevate them to cooperative and give them the certificates. After they have obtained the certification or the certification from the desired authorities, now it means they are autonomous. With that, they can be able to go to the local banks to access credit. Then we will take them through trainings, the trainings that will include how to work as a group, that group dynamics and other things. And then I'm already good at that. Other NGOs do get me with some to do those trainings. I'm already a facilitator at that area. I'll facilitate all that. So I already discussed it with Steve. We are now looking on how to build that database so that we will have all the farmers within the region in our hub, so that anybody who is coming to work with us will be able to work successfully. Now, after that is done, we are going to put the farmers into categories. Now we need to prioritize crops that are of high market value, that both locally and internationally into those groups to produce. So what we'll do is that because when we are building our executive team, it will be more of the agri people, so that this agenda can come to a reality. Because I am really very serious and very focused to ensure that this dream of us works in no time. So this is the input I can put for now, so that I will let that Steven digest it from there. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, like I was saying, I just brought in the president of SUCDA Cameroon.
Hi, Boris.
Yeah, he's Boris. Boris, this meeting, you joined in when we first started. It's about it's about assessing the progress we have with our Ghana NGO called Ghapfemco. And we are lucky to have Mr. Dakwa, who is an expert. He's a head of African Development NGO in the UK. He's very first with looking out for funders, and then to link them up with African projects. And he has just announced that aside Ghana, which we are blessed to have him to look at a Ghapfemco project in northern Ghana. He says he would like to expand his brand to other African countries. And I'm just glad to announce to him that Boris will be his welcome guest in Cameroon, which I think from nodding, he has given an approval of it. So he says he has assigned Mr. Timothy, who is our contact person in Ghana, to design a template where you will get database of all the farmers. So we need that in order to seek for funding, because funder cannot come in without having this database. So this will be actually good news for you to also take the opportunity to get the database for all the farmers and the people who are connected to a NGO. So aside that, we are very happy, Mr. Dankwa, for your explanation, and that I'm following up to get that project with Timothy. To get it within a couple of weeks, we'll have to finish with the database to get it all on, then complete our office space also, and then we're ready to go. Then complete the registration with social insurance, social welfare, something, so that if you don't request for any document and then we don't give to you and so on, and then we'll update our website as well. So we're working on all that simultaneously. So Mr. Boris, I know you're on site, you are just starting, you are starting to put things up. While you're putting up things, you also try to set aside, get these data we're talking about, we'll get your website ready and set everything all in place, because Mr. Dakwa may want to send a representative to visit you any moment from now. Over to you, okay. Over to you, Boris. Over to you, Boris.
Okay, hello everyone. Are you getting me?
Yes, 5 on 5.
Yeah, we're with you. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Digestive, for this opportunity. I'm very happy to be part of this meeting. Though I came in late, just from what as he explained, I had a SUCDA here in Cameroon, Sustainable Community Development based in Chico. Though we are still starting up, we are still trying to find documents to see how we get a legal authorization from the territorial office here in Cameroon and follow suit the taxation and social insurance too. But I would like to say here we are very much ready to work with you guys when it comes to working with farmers, because if we want to improve our communities, farmers are the backbone of our community. They must feel the impact of our presence. And thank God too, I am an agricultural expert, and when it comes to working with farmers, I am vast with that. So here in Cameroon, I know around Tico area and Fako in particular, I know of several farming group already. So if such a project is coming in, while we are creating other groups, it's also good that we include all this already functioning group so that it will ease our work. So for now, I'm just more available. I'm much available, and I must say I am happy to be part of this. Whatever information is available, you can share so that I also be versed with this African Development Project. Thank you all.
Okay. Great.
Okay, a quick one, please. Our time will soon elapse. If it goes off, please log back, because you know I didn't register this Zoom at the professional one, which I'm paying fee. So they want the give for free. It's only 45 minutes, and then you can come back again. So if it locks us off, please log back.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Boris. And later on, if you can share details of your location, name, the NGO, et cetera, we can connect up after. Yeah, so we are now agreed that we're going to form a power base locally of local farmers, both in the northern region and in Cameroon. We will also be doing that as well with all the other regions. We're already started in the Ashanti region in Ghana, and hopefully we can progress to other regions. The other thing I'd like to mention is that there are several funding bodies out there. I've got access to about 15 or so funding bodies within Africa itself, and I'm glad. I'll be happy to share that with you. The other thing I feel which is necessary is that we need to find a sample application for these fundings, and so that is something we'll need to look at going forward. Thirdly, there are kind of arrangements or structures in place. There are a lot of people here in the UK, for example, who want to relocate back to Africa, because now, as you know, Stephen, there is a scramble for Africa, from various external companies. You see the Chinese, they're there in their droves trying to take over Africa. So if we don't go back quickly or start initiatives within the continent, as you rightly said, we will be extinct. And that is something that we need to prevent. So I think the other thing that we could look at is perhaps seek those people who wish to relocate or invest, where, for example, sponsorships for farmers, and it could be anything silly, from someone wanted about $100 or $200 to start, and a farmer can have an agreement with a sponsor or an investor that, you know, any produce gained will be split a certain way. And this is where, you know, we can look at these fair trade companies so that we can have an agreement in place. I don't know if anyone's got any comments regarding that.
Well, you are the expert, and from what you are giving us, we just have to absorb and get ready for whatever information you need to back up when it comes to implementing it. You just have to guide us so that we set, just like you've put forward already, we'll assign Boris and Timothy to make sure they set all these things in place so that when it comes time for them to go in for any loan or for these investors, at least you'll be able to the way to provide what we need without any delay.
Sure. Okay. That is something, you know, we can all put in place as the local database of farmers. So, for example, we need to get individual cases, create a kind of a dossier or a write-up of who that person is, where they're located, what they are growing, and just put it out there on social media to seek various interested parties. And as I said, it could be a lucrative position for us, and where you know, someone will sponsor a farmer for however long, you know, and it's silly money. Let's face it, you know, $50 a month or other would go a long way to assist these farmers at local level.
Okay,
so
I think
let's put something.
Yes, I'll suggest that we'll all log out and then come back again. Come back in again.
Okay. Okay,
yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yes. Let's log out and then come back again, please.
Okay.